I think the shirt is the best place to start. Strong message, your choice to wear it today?
Yeah, no, I definitely decided to bring this with me. And I had bought this way before, so this was the original one. But, I figured what better time.
That's awesome. UFC was okay with you? I know sometimes they're a little cautious about branding and things like that. Did you have to get that one cleared?
Yeah, they took a look at it, but they seemed fine with it, so I don't think we should have any problems.
I love it, man. Well, hell of a fight last time out. I know it didn't go your way, but it was another entertaining GM3 kind of fight. What did you take out of that last performance?
Man, it was fun to get in there with a guy who's a champ in another organization. I felt like I looked pretty good for, most of the fight up until the end, and obviously getting dropped in the first round didn't look great either. But other than that, I had some good moments. He obviously had good moments, and, a couple things to tweak in preparation moving forward. And other than that, it was like, you never want to lose, but losing to a guy that tough and, not looking like a complete idiot the whole time doesn't hurt either.
Well, it was an entertaining fight. I mean, do you take pride in that and walking out there and knowing like, okay, it was a loss and that's never what you want to do, but can you go home and be like, yeah, but that was a hell of a fight? Yeah, no,
I enjoy being in a fun fight, and then I enjoy putting on fun fights. And that's the thing is like, I don't ever want to be in a fight where it's like edged out one way or the other. Like even if there's a lot of grappling, I'm trying to finish the fight at some point. So if grappling's not your thing necessarily, I could see how maybe you complain about that, but we have plenty of stand-up in that one too. So
nice. Like I said, we're talking about a loss versus a win, but you talk about the grappling. Is it wild for you to look and see your name among the legends that you are? I mean, most submissions in UFC history. I mean, you're talking about like true legends of the game, and you're right there with them. Top 5 in anything in the UFC is pretty incredible, right? Can you take pride in a stat like that?
Yeah, like I keep saying, it's something I'll think about more when I'm done. For now, I don't think about it too much because I still got a lot of life left in me, and more fights to go in the cage. So when it's all said and done, it'll be cool to be like, oh yeah, I'm a cool guy too. But for now, it's just it's another stat that you guys can put up there on the little teleprompter before I walk in.
I dig it. We'll talk about this matchup with Brad Tavares. Maybe a little weird that you guys haven't fought at this point. Or, I mean, it's crazy how long you guys have both been in the organization.
Yeah, no, I think he's the only guy active right now at middleweight that's got more UFC fights than I do. And, yeah, no, it's great to fight another guy who's been around. He's fought tough guys. He's been in tough fights. It's going to be a lot of fun to figure out solving that puzzle on Saturday. And, couldn't have more respect for my opponent.
Is it more exciting? It's kind of weird, like you just fought a guy that's just coming to the UFC, right? And that versus a guy that's been for a decade. Like, is it almost more fun for you? Because I'm sure you've seen his fights over the years and watched them over the time.
Yeah. No, it is kind of a nice change of pace because a lot of guys, and Ritter's been around the block a little bit, but, a lot of guys I get are maybe they have a couple fights in the UFC or the next up-and-coming guy have seemed to fallen into the gatekeeper role for better or worse. But it is nice to fight another vet, an established guy. And actually, I don't know if he remembers, but way back in like 2010, I think we trained together a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was so it was cool. Like I think what did he get in 2014? And I think he was just getting ready or like knew he was going to be in the Ultimate Fighter soon or something. So it was cool that it comes full circle that way.
Where was that?
I had won. There was like some tournament in Wisconsin, and you won the tournament. And they took us all out to Vegas to train at the Tap Out Center when that was still there. So this is a long time ago. And then we were out there for a week training, and he happened to be there at the same time also.
So you got the better of him, and now a decade later it'll be exactly the same, right? Like,
yeah, exactly the same. What is it? 15 years later? Yeah, exactly.
I dig it. Well, listen. I mean, like I said, your reputation's well cemented at this point. Do you have goals? Like, are there things that you still need to tick off, or opponents you need to face, or what drives you at this point?
Yeah, it's a far, far way off, but like the belt is the goal of anybody in the UFC. But I'm a reasonable person, and I understand that that's very far off in the distance. And I gotta win a fight, and then I gotta win a couple fights in a row, and then think about a ranked opponent and all that stuff. But other than that, it's like the submission record's cool, the finish record's cool. Brad's got the most fights at middleweight. I don't know how long he's going to stick around, but if I could, get that record, I think that would be cool just because I have so many fights anyway. And I've probably been the most active guy since I've been in, like consistently at least, at just specifically 85. And then, seeing how close I can get to that overall submission record too. Because, I think I was like 5-ish away from that.
Right,
so.
yeah, I think it's 16-11 or something like that.
Yeah. So seeing how close I can get to that's another one for me.
I love it. All very attainable. Well, the last thing for me, on paper, this looks like it's going to be a pretty damn exciting match. I mean, 2 veterans, 2 grinders. Is that what you're expecting this to be 15 minutes of a grind?
Yeah. If it has to be, you know me, I like to finish all my fights. But if it goes the full 15 minutes, it goes the full 15 minutes. I'm ready for it.
Are you a guy that pays attention to odds?
I just assume I'm always the underdog. So, yes.
I know. I feel like we've asked you that before, and I feel like you've always been the kind of guy to sort of embrace that. Yet again, the odds makers have you as the underdog in this one. I mean, is that something does that even fire you up at this point, or is it just kind of laughable because, like you said, you feel like you're always the underdog coming into these things?
I just kind of expect it, and I can almost guarantee you, if you look, I'm probably even a bigger underdog to win by submission for some reason. And I keep saying this, and everyone that bets on me is like, "Shut up, they're going to change." But like every single time, they just I don't know, whatever.
When you look at Brad, like you said, you guys are veterans. You've seen each other fight for so long. When you look at him, what are his biggest skills that you think like this is when I go into this fight, this is what I need to watch out for? Is it just the power? Is it just his hands, or does he have maybe a ground game that we don't think about?
Well, obviously, like he's definitely got power. He can crack on the feet. He's very defensively sound. Like he won't get outside himself and like open up and throw stupid combinations. But unless I haven't seen it, one thing I don't think he gets enough love for is his takedown defense. He's very good job of attacking the head and the hands immediately, getting a wide base, getting really heavy on his legs. And it's one of those things where you see a lot of guys that are, great grapplers and wrestlers. They'll get a clean entrance in, and then when the takedown isn't there anymore, they keep trying to pursue it. And it's and they stay on the legs, and it's really, really hard for them to finish that takedown. So he's got really, really good takedown defense, especially against the cage, and he's got a really good couple. Like his first and second attempt for stand-ups, he's very, very fast. So you really got to work to like keep him on the mat because some guys have gotten him down, but he's pretty good about popping right back up. And
you mentioned his takedown defense, and I think a lot of times, to go into that defense, it's the teammates. It's the team that people work with and train. When you look like a guy like that and he comes from a big gym here in town, does that play into effect when you look at your future opponents and when you look at guys, knowing where they're coming from and who the bodies that they maybe are getting work in the lead up? Or does that not even matter?
Kind of, I guess. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt for him specifically to get different looks, but everybody fights differently. Going with the best people is not necessarily the fastest way to acquire a new skill or even improve on a skill you already have. It's much more like the repetition of movement, the decision-making at the time in a fight, and the instruction you're getting. So while it doesn't hurt, does it make a huge difference? I don't really think so. You see plenty of guys that come from gyms with training partners you've never heard of that probably even have day jobs, and they have just as good, name whatever it is. It just comes down to, again, the instruction, how well they are doing with, using the skills they have or learning, and then like the reinforcement from the coaches and all that.
I guess that sounds like a good pro tip for aspiring fighters. You don't have to be at a big gym. You just get the reps in is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, definitely being in a big gym doesn't hurt. But even then, and I've been to a few different gyms now, but even at big gyms, you find that guys kind of find their little niche and the people they work with. So even at a big gym, it's like you might have these bodies to like, you want to get some extra rolls in. There's all these bodies available or sparring rounds, but you have your core group of people that you're going to work with.
And, kind of like John said, I'm sure this fight's played out a million different ways in your head, but what are your keys to the victory? What needs to happen to make sure they get your arm raised on Saturday?
I'm pretty similar to most of my fights. Don't let him punch me in the face too hard and take him down.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
One more. What would be a greater honor for you when you're all said and done in your career? To be known as the best grappler in mixed martial arts history, or of having the greatest mustache in mixed martial arts history?
I don't know that I'd really give a choice. I'd probably win on the mustache one if I had to guess.